name is Christopher Allen, and I put together this compilation CD for two reasons. One, to give tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and two, because God has given me such a gift of speaking, and because He has blessed me with a mother to be so supportive, who's been my biggest supporter over the years. I give God the glory for her, for all the blessings that He has given us. And I thank God for blessing me with the mother I have who have shown me and taught me more things than all of my accolades. And without her, I wouldn't be successful, and I wouldn't have made it thus far. And I thank God for you, Clara Lee Barnes. And on behalf of all the children you've loved, and that God has given you the strength to give birth to, this is a tribute to you. For all the love you give, and the love you taught us to give back. And I give God all the glory and thank God for it. From all your children, Percy Barnes, Tony Barnes, Clarence Barnes, Mike Clark Rosser, Stephen and Stephen Johnson, Jerome Barnes, Mary Johnson, Tion Allen, Dexter Allen, and Joyce Allen. We have nothing but love for you. I give God the glory for the love that you taught us to love back.
This woman's world, oh, it's hard on the man. Now his part is over. Now starts the craft of the flower. I know you've got a little life in you left. I know you've got a lot of strength left. I know you've got a little life in you yet. I know you've got a lot of strength left. I shouldn't be crying, but I just can't let it show. I shouldn't be hoping, but I can't stop thinking. All the things we should have said that I never said. All the things we should have done that we never did. All the things we should have given, but I didn't. Oh, darling, make it go.
Your devotion as a mother has been the preamble of your parental declaration, for which you committed a lifetime of servitude to the welfare and concern of each one of your children, not allowing one child to be astray, not giving up on any one child for your grief, not allowing one son to be particle or one daughter to be immortal, just like your mother before you, knowing God is hereditary, just as your mother. Being prayerful is a prerequisite of daily living. Just as your mother, the value of being a virtuous woman is the honor of daughter. Your faith in God is your sun by day and your moon by night. Your hope is your light in your dark hour. You identify failure as your foe and quitting as your enemy. You have not allowed defeat to be victorious.
All the things we should have said that I never said. All the things we should have done that we never did. All the things we should have given, but I didn't. Oh, darling, make it go. Make it go.
Yes, and for your woman's work, you are to be commended. From a lifetime of picking cotton and working as a cook in the Mississippi Delta, your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain, although you are of age now. Your work was not in vain. Although your mobility is slower, your work was not in vain. Although your body aches more, your work was not in vain. Although your daily living requires the aid of others, your work was not in vain. When you and your mother was required to raise 2 generations of children on a sub-average income, your work was not in vain. When you had to starve in order that your children could eat, your work was not in vain. For never forgetting our beloved brother, Michael Crosby, with every sunrise and sunset, your work is not in vain. When praying every night for your children as they left home for the first time, your work was not in vain. As a struggling black woman, while enduring the insults and negative criticisms of others, your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain. When you introduced your children to God at very early ages, your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain when God has allowed you to witness the 4th generation of your own seed. Your work was not in vain. The work was not in vain when you witnessed your children achieve the educational accolades you was robbed of. Your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain when you witnessed the goodness of God allowing all your children to be successful, educated, and esteemed. Your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain when your son made history with his health seminars in the Bay Area of California. Your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain when God allowed you to recover with mobility from a stroke that otherwise would have rendered you totally paralyzed from the neck down. Your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain following partial chemotherapy. Your cancer was put into remission. Your work was not in vain. Your work was not in vain because you are ever looking to the hills from which cometh your help. Your work is not in vain. Your work is not in vain because your living is not in vain. Like Job, you find refuge in waiting on the Lord until your change comes. Until that good and faithful day, you hear your Lord and Savior Jesus say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Well done."
All the things we should have said that we never said. All the things we should have done that we never did. All the things that you wanted from me. All the things that you needed from me. All the things we should have given, but I didn't. Oh, darling. Make it go away now. Just make it go away. Nothing's better than family for the ones who love you so. Be a shoulder to cry on when you're in need. They'll never leave you alone, no. When your friends bring you down and they drag you through the dirt, and when nobody's around, they'll carry you through the hurt. Just remember that